Hello everyone, this video is going to cover how to look at and use the grading rubric for essays in English 101 and 102. This grading rubric is the grading rubric that all of your instructors in English classes at CAC will use to grade your essays. So once you get your rubric opened, there are a couple of things that I want you to notice about the grading rubric. The first thing I want you to notice is this very first column here. This very first column is filled with all of the different categories that you are scored on. So there are 5 different categories where you can earn points. The penalties, those are where points are deducted for various things. We'll talk about that in just a second. So the first column is the category in which you're scored. The second column is how many points are possible for each category. And then we have 4 different areas. So an effective paper is going to be an A paper. So anything in this effective column is going to earn an A grade. Anything in the adequate column is going to be between a B and a C. Everything in the weak column is equivalent to a D, and anything in the inadequate column is equivalent to an F. So notice that for each points possible, each category is worth a different amount of points. So your thesis statement, that one sentence in the essay, is worth 10 points. So that's 10% of your essay grade comes from this one sentence. So you can see an A sentence, an A thesis, effectively expresses the essay's central argument or topic. And then a B or a C would be a thesis statement that is good but has some minor flaws. So an A thesis statement would receive either 9 or 10 points. And then an adequate thesis statement would receive either 7 or 8 points. A weak thesis statement would be unclear, misleading, or not really appropriate for the assignment, and that type of thesis would receive 5 or 6 points. And then an inadequate thesis, so an introduction paragraph that does not have a thesis, or an introduction paragraph whose thesis does not follow directions or doesn't fit with the assignment would receive between 0 and 4 points. And then we have organization. Organization is basically, do all your paragraphs flow together like they're supposed to? Are your paragraphs in a logical order? Do they have topic sentences? Do they have transitions? Do they have conclusion sentences? Is your organization good? And so each category in the organization is divided up into a point system. So organization is worth 20% of your overall grade. And then we have content and development. Content and development is the most significant portion of your essay. 30% or 30 points out of 100 come from the content and development section. So what we're looking for in content and development are evidence, different pieces of evidence that you use to prove your point. Do you have evidence in your body paragraphs? Do you have commentary that supports that evidence? Is the evidence appropriate for whatever point you're trying to prove? So content and development, this is where you get points for making sure that your paragraphs make sense. Did you explain, did you prove your point in your thesis statement? And then 20% is for clarity and tone. So for clarity and tone, we're looking at sentence structure. Do you have lots of varied sentence structure, or are all of your sentences really short and choppy? We're looking at diction. So diction is word choice. Do you use strong, sophisticated word choice, or do you use unsophisticated or more elementary word choice? And then tone is also graded in this section. So tone for this assignment is going to be like first and second person pronouns. Do you use informal language? If you do, then your tone grade is going to be on the lower end. If you use informal language consistently, you're looking at the weak or inadequate section of the rubric. If you accidentally are informal in one or two places, then you're going to look at the adequate section is where your score will lie. If you don't use any informal language at all in your essay, then you're going to get this excellence score. And then the last thing that you're graded on for essays in 101 and in 102 are grammar, mechanical, and documentation correctness. So there are a couple of different things that you're graded on in this category. One, you're graded on grammar. You can have 1 to 3 major writing errors. So this is, major writing errors would be run-on sentences, fragments. If you have several spelling errors, then several spelling errors can combine to be one major error. But you can have up to 3 major errors and still be in that B category. But over 3 errors, you're going to start seeing some pretty steep drops in your grade. Minor errors would be just like 1 or 2 spelling mistakes. If you use the wrong word in a sentence one time, that might be minor. But on top of grammar mistakes, we also have formatting that you're graded on here. So is your document in MLA format? Do you have an MLA heading at the top of your page? Do you have a header? Is it double spaced? Is it Times New Roman font? Is it 12-point font? So you're graded on your formatting in this category as well. And then the last thing that you're graded on are how you document your sources in your paragraphs. Now, for an exemplification essay, you are not allowed to have research. So you are not going to have citations in your exemplification essay. You will have citations in the rest of your essays. So for this first essay, you will not be graded on this last section of grammar and mechanics category because you're not going to have signal phrases or parenthetical citations or a works cited page. For your midterm essay and for your research paper, you will be graded on this. So in the coming weeks, you will learn more about what signal phrases are. You'll learn more about parenthetical citations, and you'll learn more about works cited pages. So all of these categories added together equal 100 points. Your grade is actually out of 150 points, so I will do the math to make your grade in the gradebook equivalent to whatever your percentage is that you earn. Some things that you can get penalties for: plagiarism. Blackboard has an automatic plagiarism checker embedded in. All of your papers will go through this plagiarism checker, and I will check anything that is flagged. If you plagiarize a paper, then you get an automatic 0 for the paper. If it continues to happen, then you can get an automatic 0 or failure for the course. So it's really not worth it to plagiarize your paper. If your essay does not meet the minimum requirements of the assignment, then you can get an automatic F as well. And what that means is if I assign a paper and a minimum requirement is 3 full pages and you only turn in 2.5 pages, then you have not met the assignment's requirements. 3 full pages means all the way to the bottom of the 3rd page. So if you don't go all the way to the bottom of the 3rd page, then you have not met minimum requirements. MLA formatting is also a minimum requirement. So if your document is not in MLA format, then you may not pass the assignment. If I say you need 2 pieces of evidence in each body paragraph, but you only provide 1 piece of evidence in each body paragraph, then you have not met the minimum requirements. So keep in mind, I will have a minimum requirements list for every assignment, every essay assignment that we have, and those are the things that you have to do to score well on your essay. If there are any other things that you are penalized for, I will list that here in this other category, but that rarely happens. So that's what the rubric looks like. Let's take a look really fast at this example here. I have an example essay here, and I have all of my notes on it. So I went through and I graded this essay. So TS means topic sentence. RO means run on. So I've made some comments about the assignment. When I grade your essays, this is sort of what it will look like. You'll have my commentary all over the place. So you can go through my commentary, and then I have this at the end. I have the rubric here, and so you can kind of see the points that I assigned for each category. And this person made an 84 out of 100, so an 84%, which translates to 126 out of 150 for this first essay. Now, keep in mind, this is a first essay. If the same mistakes that Jane Doe made in this first essay happen again on the final essay, this score will be much lower, much, much lower. So keep that in mind when you are reviewing your grading rubric after I give it back to you, and you're looking at what you did well and what you need to work on. Keep in mind that if you continue to make the same mistakes through all of our essays, your grade is going to get worse and worse and worse. So keep that in mind as you are working through the course. And if you have any questions about the grading rubric, please, please, please email me and let me know. What you need to do now is, after you have watched this video and you have looked over the mock essay, in the Turn In folder there is a rubric quiz. That quiz will cover the rubric itself and this video. So get that turned in by the due dates. Thank you very much. See you later.